This hour, we shall look at more of the business story. Let's start from the police still on hand for a mother who tortured the child, attributing to child abuse and touched to poverty. Police has condemned the increased acts of aggravated child abuse and torture. During a press briefing at the police headquarters, the police spokesperson Fred Enanga says that such acts are due to poverty and failure to meet family needs. This follows a video of a child torture that went viral on different social media platforms. Pedersen Mombere reports.
Police has strongly condemned cruel and inhuman acts of child torture, saying that there is no jurisdiction whatsoever. They said that children rely on parents, adults, guardians for their survival, which rights must be observed. During a press briefing at the police headquarters in Kampala, Naguru, the police spokesperson Fred Enang says that such acts are due to poverty and failure to meet family needs. This follows a video of a child torture that went viral on different social media platforms.
In the Kampala division, we have come up with a list of 33 incidents of aggravated torture, including the most recent one, which was in Kabalagala, of parent-child abuse, where a mother was openly beating and torturing a son of hers. We all know that children are the most vulnerable members of society, and the scars arising out of the physical, psychological, sexual, and emotional abuse are traumatic and long-lasting. So the torture of a child gets to affect us all because it has a very devastating effect on the economy. During this pandemic period, we have witnessed a notable increase in cases of child abuse and torture due to the long durations that children have had in homes, poor oversight from guardians. There are some guardians who don't even care and mind about where their children are. And then there is anger also and frustration arising maybe out of the lockdown, fatigue, and also incidents, issues arising out of poverty and failure to meet certain family requirements and demand. But in the many cases that we've registered, like these 33 cases of aggravated torture, the parents have always come out and said that the children they're having are difficult to control these days. But that should not be a reason for physical torture. There should be alternatives on how to discipline children physically.
According to Article 24 of the Constitution, provides that no person shall be subjected to any form of torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Whereas Article 44, subsection A of the Constitution provides that, notwithstanding anything in the Constitution, there shall be no derogation from the enjoyment of freedom from torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment.
Which went viral, we rescued the young male juvenile, and he was visited recently in Zambia, baby's home, where he is responding very well to that traumatic experience of child torture. The shelter home has actually given him medical treatment and social services. So I want to thank Zambia Babies Home and all other shelter homes for the role they play in supporting child victims. Now, we remain committed as the Uganda Police Force in pursuing every incident of child torture and ensure those responsible for these horrific crimes are brought to justice. Well, there's a small summary here where our Child and Family Protection Unit has charged several suspects to court. We are still pursuing the mother in Bunga under Kabalagala Division, who is on the run. our experts are following up on that. She should be in hiding, but whoever we shall find, knowing very well that the mother is a wanted person for these acts of aggravated torture, and they appear to be harboring her, and yet she's a wanted suspect.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigation has intensified tracking down shared videos of aggravated child torture where they are being thrashed, kicked and helplessly crying in pain. Police, however, warned film producers who continue to share videos that portrays child torture and yet they adjust their film skits. Enang said that they should indicate before sharing them and follow rules and regulations given by Uganda Communications Commission.
Outside the many real videos of violence, we've also noted that film producers are also posting videos of child torture, and they don't follow the regulations by Uganda Communications Commission and the filming boards, whereby if you are releasing or posting a footage, a clip, a video, you're supposed to send a warning indicating to the public that this is not a real-life scenario, this is a movie, it's a drama or a theatrical presentation. They are sharing these videos, and to the public, some of them are interpreting these videos as real-life incidents of violence, and which is very dangerous. So today we are coming out to warn film producers against sharing videos on child torture without warning.
In March this year, a 23-year-old mother who was also filmed brutalizing her 5-year-old son was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Patience Uwimana, a resident of Byuma Village, Chazang Town Council in Lwengo District, was convicted by Masaka Grade 1 magistrate for torturing her son on February 8, 2021. At least 1,500 children are abused or tortured annually, according to Uganda Police Force statistics. However, the convictions of the abusers of children in court are as low as 45 per 1,500 cases. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV.
In March this year, a 23-year-old mother who was also filmed brutalizing her 5-year-old son was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Patience Uwimana, a resident of Byuma Village, Chazanga Town Council in Lwengo District, was convicted by Masaka Grade 1 magistrate for torturing her son on February 8, 2021. So you've seen all these cases coming through. And according to Fred Enanga, one of these reasons is attributed, all these cases is attributed to the continuous poverty in the country. Because you've all known and seen how COVID has placed our country into some poverty state, whereby people are now drawing their frustrations out to any person they get. It is either people getting too much of the depression, but hey, who would want to hit your child so bad to that extent? A child that you gave birth to, a child that came from the inside of you. So if you could look at that, Enanga said that they're going to be tracking down all these videos because the good thing is that there is footage, there is evidence, and people are going to help out police in the hunt for these individuals that are engaging in this various child abuse or the child torture that is continuously becoming a habit during this period of COVID. So we are in a situation where people are totally depressed, and apparently this depression has caused many of them, or a couple of these individuals, to turn their tables or to turn their depression and turn all their frustration and anger onto any other person out there. But it's worrying that regardless of the poverty, you can actually hurt your child to that extent. Remember, you're supposed to be taking care of them. The child is innocent at the time. What I do know about the fact that when you're still young, there are a number of things that you do because of the age that you're in. Now, for instance, do not expect a 5-year-old to pull off something that a 13-year or an 18-year-old can do. Reason being, they are still young. They're still in the stages of learning and maturity. So maturity takes phases. So before someone actually challenges you to do something, they need to understand the level or the stage of life that you are in. And police says they're going to be tracking down whoever is engaging in the child abuse as well as child torture. At least 1,500 children are abused or tortured annually, according to the Uganda Police Force statistics. However, the convictions of the abusers of children in court are as low as 45 per 1,500 cases. Moving on, the members of parliament have raised concern over the skyrocketing fuel prices in Uganda. The local pump prices have skyrocketed, with a litre of petrol now going for as high as 4,590, whereas other stations are actually having it at 4,630 shillings, following a spike in global oil and gas prices. By Thursday last week, diesel was going at as high as 4,230 per litre. However, the prices are not uniform, as there are some filling stations that have slightly higher pump prices than the others. The highest prices were at Total filling stations in around Kampala, with most of them selling petrol between 4,380 and 4,590 shillings. More of this story.
We don't have. What level do we have? And what role can it...
Government introduced an excess duty of 100 shillings on each litre of petrol and diesel. The Energy Minister, Ruth Nankabira, recently said that the government of Uganda cannot regulate fuel prices, for it is a free market economy, saying that fuel prices in the country are determined by the forces of demand and supply. Several major countries in the region and globally have also felt the pinch of the rising fuel prices. Japan, a major importer of crude oil and natural gases, has in a statement already expressed concern that the increased oil prices would slow the global economic recovery. Japan is said to have approached OPEC, that's Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, and other partners, requesting them for more oil production. Therefore, members of the Parliament of Uganda have also raised concern over the skyrocketing fuel prices in the country. The local pump prices have skyrocketed, with a litre of petrol now going for as high as 4,590 shillings, following a spike in the global oil and gas prices. By Thursday, diesel was going at as high as 4,230 shillings per litre. However, the prices are not uniform, as there are some filling stations that have slightly lower pump prices. The highest prices were at total filling stations in and around Kampala, with most of them selling petrol at between 4,380 shillings and 4,590 shillings.
You see, the issue with fuel, the moment it increases even by just 1 digit, it affects everything else. So the current increase in fuel prices is very, very bad for our economy, for people to grow. You know that we have been struggling with COVID. We've not been working. And so the prices are increasing, and yet people are not getting income. It's not only fuel. Many commodities are increasing, and it's very bad for us. For a country like ours, which heavily relies on imports, when these things increase, it will break the economy, which we want to rejuvenate from the long recession period.
MPs say that not only goods but also agricultural products have also been affected by the increased prices. Transportation of agricultural goods from the village to the final destination is now expensive due to high fuel prices.
This is not the first time that we are facing price differences. That prices of fuel have gone beyond expectation. We have always cried out to government that it should have reservoirs. It should come in and subsidize when such issues come in. It should come in and lower the taxes by at least 100 or 200 when such issues come in. The government has always remained adamant about these issues. This is when prices of everything go up. The prices of fuel affect the price of the prices of all commodities and all agricultural produce and inputs. It so happens that if actually the people that are at the sea, people that are fishing, are actually having a very hard time, because if a liter of fuel is at 4,600, then at...
However, members of parliament still have hope government to reduce fuel prices, adding that government intervention is a must done.
The only way our government should come out and subsidize this kind of cost. We have a fuel reserve in Ginger. What is this fuel reserve doing? If we have stocked some fuel there, this is the time we should come out with it. This is time we should release so that we balance up the shortage, if at all the problem is a shortage. Who is supposed to come forward to regulate these people? I call upon the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Transport, the Minister of Works, the Minister who is in charge of this, to call these private companies so that they sit down with them to regulate them, so that they should not keep on increasing these fuel prices.
Unlike previously, where fuel prices have been affected by the US dollar, the major cause of the sharp rise in prices is the rising global oil prices coupled with increased transportation costs.
On is also hoping to boost its fossil fuel shipments if it can strike a deal with world powers over its nuclear program. The expected increase in global crude supplies is just one of the factors influencing decisions of the Organization of Petroleum.
We're back. Unlike the previously where fuel prices have been affected by the US dollar, let's look at the major cause of the sharp rises in the rising global prices. Now, there was also a social media picture that was actually rotating, if I am to remember so well. It was having the Total filling stations. And most probably, most people were actually really shocked by Monday morning to see that fuel was actually that expensive. If I'm to actually search a little bit here, and it was actually showing that petrol, a liter of petrol, was going for as much as 4,630 shillings. That is quite a very huge amount. Now look at diesel, and diesel was actually going for 4,290 shillings. So which shows you that most probably we also are going to experience a skyrocketing price in various commodities, because once fuel prices are getting to a high increase, then that means it is going to affect everything, because transportation plays a very huge role in business. Now look at the trader community. Most of the we do expect some prices to hike if at all these prices are not checked, because most probably we shall see sugar, because if you look at some areas, sugar has also skyrocketed in most of the areas from around 3,200 to 3,600. Areas that had sugar at 3,400 are also having it at 3,600. So we are seeing some increase in a number of items. So this is something that we are greatly going to expect coming through, with the fact that the fuel prices are actually rising up. And this is also attributed to the global rise in fuel worldwide, which has actually created room for fuel prices to hype in various economies. Away from that, let's move on to the next story, as the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Journey, Dr. Ignatius Odong, has called on the government to offer a helping hand to the low-level innovators. During an interview with Smart 24 TV, Odongo said that it's a key to economic growth as it opens up Ugandans' potential to the rest of the world. More of this story. Innovation is the introduction of a new or improved good or service. These innovations or changes may have to do with improving technical specifications, the materials or the software used, or even advancing on user experience. An innovation can also be an idea that has been transformed into practical reality. It is a primary component of successful businesses, so it's beneficial to understand what it entails. In an interview with Smart 24 TV, Dr. Ignatius Odong from Entrepreneurship Journey urged the government to offer a strong helping hand towards low-level innovators, saying that this is a key to economic development, for it opens up Uganda's potential to the rest of the world.
We saw the celebration of the Innovation Week that was driven by universities. But my view is that innovation is not just limited to the universities. I think we've got an innovation culture in different sectors of our country. A lot of people are doing very good things, but they are not known, you see. So government is not coming up to assist the lower-level innovators. People in Katwe, for example, they are doing some very good work. If you go to different places, there are a lot of people who are doing very innovative things, innovative ideas, but no one knows about it. So can government then come out, not only to promote an innovation culture in our communities, but to propagate?
Odong further says that there is need for the government to support innovative ideas from the lower class with the required technology so as to translate to commercial, so as to earn revenue from the ideas. Odong notes that the innovation support and promotion of ideas shouldn't only be extended to universities and other high institutions of learning, but also to the middle and low class innovators.
All these good ideas, so that all these good ideas are translated, not just to remain ideas, but to commercialize them, so that we are able to make money out of our innovations. So government, we encourage you to say innovation is not only limited to university level, but there is also innovation going on in our communities. To what extent are we promoting and developing all these innovations, all these good ideas, so that the world can know? So somebody who is developing some good ideas in Katwe, who knows about them? How can they be supported? So we encourage that government, please come out, get to know what is happening in our communities, get to know the good ideas that people are doing, and come out to support.
Odong embraced partnerships between higher institutions of learning and communities as an aid in helping commercializing innovative ideas.
Encourage partnerships between universities and communities so that the good ideas that are in the universities and the good ideas that are in the communities, these two can be brought together so that we work together to commercialize them.
What I do know is that the ideas are there, and what I also do know is that the limited funds are limiting the ideas. But then, if you could see economies that are growing in terms of science and technology, the government plays a very huge role. First of all, I would love to acknowledge the fact that the government has always been putting their platforms for the innovators in the science and technology sector to come out, to showcase their abilities. And the only challenge which we have faced is that we are not reaching out to almost all of them. We need to capture the majority. We need to make sure that we fund the development of these. Or if so, we can actually specialize in an item annually, and we say, let's look at this sector in science. How can we boost them? Because if you look at the challenges most of them face, is the fact that they lack support, more so the financial support to effectively run with their innovations and the various skills that they have to attribute. So I guess, as Odongo says, we should embrace partnerships between higher institutions of learning and communities as an aid in helping commercializing the innovative ideas, because from there, the government will still get the revenue after the ideas have been commercialized, and the people with the ideas will also be getting money. So it is a two-way thing that is beneficial for both the government and the people of Uganda. Away from that, lastly, from our news hour, Ugandan small and medium-sized enterprises continue to face challenges in raising finance. Such challenges include inadequate collateral to secure loans, informing opaqueness, low-level technical and management skills, lack of professionalism to afford long-term financing, among others. The small and medium enterprises have therefore been told to embrace the East African SMEs Conference on Oil and Gas on 18th and 19th November 2021 to explore opportunities for the small and medium-sized enterprises in the oil and gas sector. More of this story.
SMEs are called upon not to miss out on this conference because the much needed information is loaded to be passed on. The opportunities what challenges SMEs are facing, what government is doing about it, what the private sector is doing about it, how can we solve the financing issues, capacity issues, how can people build joint ventures. All these questions will be answered at the conference. So we call upon the SMEs to turn up in big numbers. Usually people shy away from technology. We all know how COVID-19 has affected our physical meetings, but several platforms will be open. And UNOC is privileged to co-host with Stanbic this conference, and we shall be happy to see you participating online. Suppliers are highly encouraged to change their perspective or attitude towards these opportunities.
We have also, during the same time, interacted with several businesses, close to 1,500 businesses at the moment. Now, what we see coming out of many of these conversations from the businesses is a commonality of lack of information when it comes to the opportunities, the standards, where they can go to access information, how they can access this information, and how they can use this information. So we have decided with our partners who we have signed memorandums of understanding with to say, how can we, or to answer the question of how we can support these businesses to become better businesses. We want to hear great stories. We all know, and my partners will talk about the first phase, which
conference. The second one is to provide affordable financing, which is something we have been very keen on. And the other one that we're trying to do, or that we are doing as a bank, is also to provide advisory services for our clients. As we build capacity, those are the things we're building on, and we're definitely glad to participate for the next 2 days on the 18th and the 19th.
And all right, so the SMEs can use the opportunity of the oil and gas. This is not only those from Uganda, but also those in Tanzania. Greatly, because remember, the East African crude oil pipeline will be passing through Tanzania, and some of those districts can actually get more out of this. Everyone, if you look at the provinces and the districts in Uganda, mainly most of the small and medium-sized enterprises can earn much from that as well. And of course, that particular moment is when we head into a break. When I do return, we head into a topical analysis. We are yet to discuss more about what is happening from the world of, we're going to talk about domestic violence, the poverty that has actually brought it on board in Uganda. I'll be right back.